Hey guys, welcome to the couch. I haven't made one of these in a while, and here's why. School started. So what are we reviewing today? Perks of being a wallflower. That school thing actually worked as a segue.
Intro!
The perks of being a... that. And before we get into the movie itself, I was thinking about the term wallflower, and I think it kind of sounds like a hippie name. Like, think about it. Hey wallflower, how's your aura today, man? Well, anyway, Perks of Being a Wallflower is based off of the novel of the same name, and the guy who directed the movie is also the guy who wrote the book, so I think that's really cool. But it's about Logan Lerman's character Charlie going through high school as a freshman, and he meets two seniors. An adventure ensues! Alright, there's a lot of book to film adaptations lately, and I haven't been keeping up on my reading or a lot of those movies. Like, I've seen the first Hunger Games, I've yet to see the second one, but I hear it's really good. Haven't seen any of the Twilight films, don't plan on it. And we have seemed to have exited the Harry Potter fantasy phase with Lord of the Rings in there, and we are entering the dystopian future phase with The Giver, Divergent, Hunger Games, etc. And when I told one of my friends that I was watching this for the first time, they asked if I had read the book, and I have yet to respond to them, but I have not, because if I read a book that's being turned into a movie, it gives me a reason to hate it. So did I like it? Yeah! Alright, the pros, I think everyone does a great job in this movie. Everyone, fleshes out their characters completely, and everyone, plays their part, even if we don't get a lot of focus to a lot of characters. Everyone feels like their performances are authentic. The dialogue is very good, too. I wouldn't go as far to say it's realistic, but it's entertaining. The only way I can describe it is with a phrase I came up with, fantasy IRL. For the little I read, the only author I really know that writes this way is John Green, and apparently this guy too, whose last name I cannot pronounce. But the only way I can describe it is with entertaining, really incredibly intelligent teens, pixie haircuts, and eccentric teachers. And they go on thought-provoking adventures that only parents in their nightmares can think of, which get turned into best-selling novels. And the movie is set up in such a way where you don't really know where it's going to go next. It's not really based on plot. It's more based on the characters and them reacting to the situations opposed to the situations themselves. Now for the bad. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I didn't cry in this movie. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to, but I didn't. The bad things with this movie is very small. People would consider this to be a chick flick, but since it is told from a guy's perspective, I enjoyed it. I think a lot of people can find something to enjoy about this movie. Or people are too proud to say, I watched Perks of Being a Wallflower, so... A message to those people. I bought it on Blu-ray. There are some things in the story that's wait, how'd they do that? I don't really think that they could do that, or they could do this a lot easier. To expand on what I'm talking about, let's put on our army gear and go into... spoiler territory. If you're new to my channel, here's how this works. I will be wearing this army outfit as long as I'm talking about spoilers, and I will take it off when I'm done. So if you don't want to know how this movie ends, then just mute the video until I'm out of this army outfit. Okay? Okay. Okay, what I was talking about earlier are really nitpicky things. For example, when they're all getting, Secret Santa gifts and putting things in different people's lockers, is it a little concerning to anyone that they can just open other people's lockers? A lot of things can go wrong with that. Second of all, when they're doing the tunnel song and they can't figure out what it is, why don't they just type in the lyrics and then they can find it on Google? I guess there is kind of a poeticness to calling something the tunnel song, it gives it its own personal vibe, but I digress. Also, something I just kind of wanted to point out, when he says I'm going bad again, isn't that something that you kind of think a serial killer would say? I'm going bad again, Clarice. But his I'm going bad again was handled very well. Spoilers, done. This is kind of a bad, my final thing that I had with the movie. I kind of figured out where it was going. Towards the end, I kind of figured out what beats it was going to play. But maybe that's what it was going for. I don't know. In conclusion, I really liked it. It's not really the movies I always go out to see. But I'm glad I bought it, and I'm glad I saw it. And I suggest that if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And I have a theory that this is the next step in where young adult is going, after the fantasy thing with Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, and then now we're in the dystopian now. And I think now we're going for more realistic, John Green and Perks Being Wallflower, and kind of those kind of style of writing. It's kind of John Hughes movies The Next Generation. So what are your thoughts on Perks of Being a Wallflower, and what's your favorite movie that's been adapted from a book? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe below, and I'm headed off to read. Now the Starbelly Sneetches had pellies with stars, the Plainbelly Sneetches had none upon theirs. The stars weren't so big, they were really so small. You'd think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. I hope this doesn't get a Dr. Seuss adaptation. But because they had stars on the Starbelly Sneetches, they would brag, "We're the best Sneetches on the beaches." With their snoots in the air and they sniff and they'd snort. We have nothing to do with the plain